Are you worried about protectionism? You're an advocate of trade. You actually helped start the World Affairs Council in Atlanta. You've worked globally. You have a lot of experience. You've worked in Latin America. You've worked many places. So you have this international view. Protectionism, is it a threat? Is it something that you are concerned about?
Well, I don't want to wade into all the politics around some of the proposals out there. Let me just say that protectionism could be a downside scenario if it gets out of hand, and if we find ourselves in a kind of spiral of reciprocal action between countries or between parts of the world where they feel they're threatened and take action, and we end up really in a trade war of some kind. If it's something less than that, then tweaking of agreements may not have a big economic effect.
You had a very successful career as a banker, and again, you worked in many parts of the world. So Dodd-Frank, you don't just look at it from a policy view, you've actually worked at large banking institutions under attack. Republicans think it's holding back bank lending, hobbling the banks. Janet Yellen and others have defended that the capital requirement, the higher capital requirement, in particular, as creating a safer, sounder banking system. What do you see? Is there some legitimacy in the argument that maybe the regulatory hand on banks has just gotten a little heavy, and it wouldn't be bad in some ways to lighten it?
First, I see regulation as a pendulum. And understandably, after the financial crisis and the recession that came from the financial crisis, the pendulum swung very far. And so some swinging back of the pendulum probably is appropriate, given now that we've had 8 years of recovery and conditions have returned cyclically to a rather good place, very much similar to what we saw in 2007 or 2006. Having said that, I see a big distinction between the regulatory approach to systemically important institutions and to the risk of a systemic event, and those that affect smaller institutions, even regional banks of medium scale, and certainly community banks. And so I think you can differentiate between what ought to be done opposite the systemically important institutions and those that really cannot plausibly be viewed as a potential cause of a systemic event. So I'd like to see some differentiation in that as the pendulum swings back.